Major new developments. We know Blackwater's being used in North Carolina with the police, in Southern California raiding marijuana dispensaries that are totally legal. LA Times. Another mercenary group. The town built this FEMA camp, this detention center. They didn't know what it was for, barbed wire fences. Then this group shows up calling themselves American Police Force and says they want all this acreage. The mayor says, we don't know why they're here, why they've put hardened police on their black SUVs. And all of this is going on. First hour, we played the local news clip where the mayor and others are saying, we don't know why they're here. We don't know why they say they're our police now. We played it first hour, the audio. Ladies and gentlemen, as I got Steve Quayle on the line to go live with us, who told me about this last Friday, was desperately trying to call me. Before it broke in the news over the weekend, Steve Quayle was telling me about it. He has the full intel on it. He lives up there, very nearby, and he has a huge listenership himself in that area. And he told me it's down. We went and checked. It's been removed off the local TV station website. This is very, very creepy, but we got some screenshots of it. So did Steve Quayle. They're at stevequayle.com. We'll get those added in an update to our Prison Planet article. Have Watson or Steve Watson do that. Montana town occupied by private paramilitary security force. Report pulled. Steve Quayle, before we get into it being pulled, tell people what's really happening here.
Well, first of all, Alex, around the country, and it's not just in Montana, but specific areas are being identified as staging grounds for not only the foreign troops.
Let me interrupt you. You told me off air a month ago and on air this was going on. I just remembered that. You told me they were pre-positioning Mercs in your area, and you said this was, I'm sorry, black SUVs. Go ahead.
Well, the black SUVs...
You said they were following you when you even took your family fishing.
Well, the bottom line is that I didn't take my family fishing, but they were strategically placed where
okay, well, you said you were in the woods, and then they were... Anyways, go ahead.
There. And then just recently, we had 12 Tajikistan troops on BMWs. These are the same BMWs that you and I talked about meeting.
And by the way, the UN admits their main force is Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Egyptian and Pakistani. That's their main UN force. Sorry, go ahead.
Right. Well, listen, the owner of the American Police Force, his real name is Eddie Ali. He goes by a bunch of other names, Jamad Ali, Imad Fazi Ali. And what's interesting is, and the question swirling around the jail deal, which is, probably you have it on your website, I have it on mine.
They're calling it a jail. It's a giant camp.
Absolutely. They're downplaying it. And listen, the deal is that some of the officials have been put on leave to put them out of contact, or the people that have made the backroom deals. This is very similar, Alec, to the Cabazon Indian Reservation deals that went on with the Inslaw Promise software. What we're seeing here is the full integration of Marcus Wolf, Evgeny Primikov. You and I have covered that at length over
7 years.
But what's really important, I think it will be important for us to quote Maziar Mafi, who describes the Santa Ana Company as a fledgling spinoff of a major security firm founded in 1984. Now, here I quote him: "It will gradually be more clear as things go along what the nature of this entity and what the nature of the jail is for."
Is this one of the camp operator Merc groups?
Yes, it is. But it's probably one of the most lethal camp operator groups. Now, first of all, too, some stories have said there were 3 SUVs. Look, when I post the alert on my website, and that's where it was posted first, it was sent to me. The bottom line is this is from people who live there. There are people saying, well, I don't see any of that stuff. It can't be true. I got news for you. Before you go knocking stuff, we've done our background, and our deep pool sources are all saying, look, we know this guy, the guy that owns the company, but we've never seen this name before. So what it is, it's a bunch of different and foreign corporations and foreign paramilitary groups that have been hired by our government. Alex, listen, I'm on the phone with my webmaster, Holly Dale, and this site is up immediately while we're on the phone together, and she's capturing the screenshot that goes down because we're talking in real time at the time it's done.
Stay there.
And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
For PrisonPlanet.tv viewers watching the simulcast radio show, we're showing the video of Pittsburgh. G20 admitted that, quote, secret private mercenaries were dressed up as military, grabbing protesters and throwing them into cars. We just showed that video. We'll show it again. Why do I raise this point now? They admit Blackwater, other groups are going to be used inside the U.S. The L.A. Times and the Washington Times both reported in 1993 and again in 1994 that George Bush Sr. brought in 3,200 plus Iraqi Republican Guard trained in the 80s by the CIA, brought them in out of Iraq. They were involved at Elohim City with McVeigh and others in the Black Op. We know that then Clinton brought in an additional 2,000 plus, over 5,000 total. We know they're intimately involved with security firms as their cover. I'm just throwing that nexus point out. We don't know if this group's associated with that, but we need to track them back to the Iraqis because this is Arab run. Now, stopping there, we have all of this going on. We have this FEMA center that the town mayor and others were saying, we don't know why. It was just built here. They wouldn't say what it was for. Black SUVs showed up with the term hardened police, which are not part of the police department. There's a county there, no police in the small town. They're telling people, don't talk about it, don't talk to us, you'll find out what it's for. Prisoners are about to be here. From the evidence, Obama said that in Wyoming and Montana, they had built camps that they were going to put the people from Camp X-Ray at Guantanamo Bay in and other black sites in Eastern Europe and Asia, moving them there. They've also on the news, U.S. News and World Report, shown a supermax that's closed in Montana that they're going to put people in. I believe this should be followed up on. From the pieces I have, I believe that's what's happening here. Steve Quayle, you just heard those analysis points for the first time. Do you concur?
Oh, I absolutely concur, but it's even beyond that, Alex. Here's the deal.
Recap it all. Recap it all. I'm going to shut up. Recap it all.
Every one of your listeners must go to the Internet and type in Cabazon, C-A-B-A-Z-O-N, plus CIA. And what you're going to find out, you'll find the history of what went on the Indian reservations. Hardin, Montana is in the area of one of the largest Indian reservations in Montana. Indian reservation is a Native American reservation, is a separate legal entity, and basically the intelligence communities, look, nobody could take down a website. Well, I'm on a phone conversation with that much authority to even go into the Wayback Machine, which is a machine you can check stories out on the Internet that have disappeared off of their original host site. No one has that kind of power except the major intelligence organizations of the United States. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably one of the most sophisticated, clandestine, run programs in the country, and it all has to do with what Alex
and we don't said. Even have the video now. We should have captured it. In fact, I meant to tell the guys, but they're overworked to capture that. I had a bad feeling earlier today. We played the audio, but before we could get to the video, I wish somebody would have, I bet one of our listeners grabbed it to put it on YouTube. In fact, check YouTube, go to YouTube, type in Hardin, Montana, camp. And I bet it's on YouTube. The second you see it, get it before they bring it down. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, again, you need to understand that the original owner that's being represented on this whole American police force is a guy by the name of Edward Angelino. He's known by all his aliases, okay? And all of the names I read to you, the different aliases and spelling them out, obviously he's got a foreign, it sounds like maybe an Iranian, who is the spokesman for the attorney for the group that just came on 30 days ago. So what we're trying to do, Alex, is you and I are trying to give the listeners, our cooperative listeners, meaning those that are all
the intel patterns to follow to get us the info.
Absolutely. And the thing is that the idea is that every single, now here's, ladies and gentlemen, we're teaching you something, and this is critical. All of the addresses are virtual addresses, Alex. They don't exist.
That was admitted in the local news, that it's a shadowy group based by the White House.
Right. I'm getting emails asking me...
By the way, that address is very close to the Iraqi Friends Committee, the group with Chalabi. I noticed that this morning.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Let's spell it out really simply. They anticipate an event, a false flag. It will either be nuclear or the vaccination biological. And by the way, we posted the story, I'm sure you're aware of it, that the Canadians have come out and said the H1N1 vaccine is initiating the flu. Gee, you and I talked about that months ago, and that they're not going to recommend vaccination, so they're going to have to come up with a false flag. I think, what was it, the History Channel or someone...
Two different groups of neighbor kids in my neighborhood took it and got sick.
Yep. But I think the thing that everyone's got to realize is this. Those camps exist for a reason. We've told the background of the garden plot.